What's going on, everybody? This is Juba Jordan here, and today we are back discussing the greatest defenders of all time. And be sure to stick around to the end. I have a crazy defensive stat you never heard before. At number 10, we have the GOAT Michael Jordan. He could guard 1 through 4 positions, and at elite level, combining strength, wingspan, vertical leap, massive hands, a legendary motor, and basketball IQ. What truly set him apart was his on and help defense. Many people consider him the best defender of his era. While I might disagree, there's no denying the impact he had on defensive end. A 3-time steal champion, averaging .8 blocks per game for his career, remarkable for a guard. Add in multiple 100-plus block seasons, now you're talking a perimeter defender that can change both ends of the court. What truly made him special in my eyes, in 1987, Defensive Player of the Year, 37 points per game, scoring title. In 1992, third place Defensive Player of the Year, scoring title. 1993, second place Defensive Player of the Year, scoring title. He wasn't just the offensive savior for the Chicago Bulls, but the league leader in points, and a defensive force while being a championship winner. At number 9, it's Tim Duncan, the big fundamental, a high IQ defender and anchor for multiple Spurs championships. Tim dominated from the start to the end of his career, even after David Robinson retired, or even alongside him. Duncan was arguably even better. No flashy awards, no Defensive Player of the Year, block titles, or rebound titles, but his IQ and longevity set him apart. He is the all-time leader in defensive team selections and tops the league in career defensive win shares with 106.34. Like Bill Russell, he kept blocks in play, turning stops into opportunities. Tim Duncan was timeless, start and defensive cornerstone, solidifying him as one of the greatest defenders of all time and in my top 10. From the beginning to the end, he was a great defender. When looking at defensive highlights, this one stood out. Doesn't this look like it goes in? You tell me. At number 8, 4-time Defensive Player of the Year, tied for the most all-time, Big Ben Wallace. 2-time rebounding champion and 5-time All-NBA defense team. Though Wallace was shorter for his position, he made up for it with strength, hustle, and intimidation. Not just a scary shot blocker, but in Spurs, can guard 1 through 5. And an underrated pick-and-roll defender. Considering defense made him a star, if he was better longer, he'd be higher on this list.
My Defensive Player of the Year, and that's where he shows the rookie.
At number 7, David Robinson, the 7'1" Admiral with rare speed, agility, and coordination. Built like a statue, but moving like a guard, and what seems to be an overall bigger Giannis. Robinson was the 1992 Defensive Player of the Year, swatting an insane 4.49 blocks per game that season. He recorded 5 straight seasons with 3+ blocks a game, and one of only 4 people to win Defensive Player of the Year and have a scoring title in their resumes. And while we're talking about rarefied air, one of few players to ever lead the league in blocks consecutive times, and one of few players to have a quadruple double, with 10 blocks being the defensive factor. One thing about David Robinson is, despite the scoring titles, and despite the 71 points he did put up, he was a better player defensively than offensively, at least in my opinion. So I do wonder if he had more help offensively, where he would be in this ranking. And I kind of do compare him to Giannis in reverse, where defense and offense are kind of switched. But the thing about David Robinson that was pretty interesting I wanted to add, if you've been watching the highlights, you might have noticed David Robinson is pretty fast. And so I wanted to see how fast he was. And I don't know how true this may be. When working with AI, I found out he is at least comparable to Devin Booker, if not Ja Morant and Shai Gilgeous in speed.
On the fast break point is hammered.
Like I said, this was a tough one, but at number 6, it's Kevin Garnett, the big ticket. A true hybrid, Kevin Garnett could guard 1 through 5, combining size, quick feet, heart, lightning hands, intimidation, and trash talking. Thinking basketball, called him an octopus on the floor. I have some more comparisons. He reminds me of Draymond Green mixed with Anthony Davis. He reminds me of a weaker Akeem Olajuwon. He reminds me of a Giannis mixed with Gary Payton. That's a scary player. Tied with the second most all-defensive teams with 12 and won the 2008 Defensive Player of the Year award, even though that was not his defensive peak. When discussing defense and defensive greats, defensive rebounding does not get discussed. He is number 2 all-time in that. What makes Kevin Garnett stick out, especially compared to the others? When looking to see who I preferred, David Robinson or Kevin Garnett, I decided to look at the key players in their era and how these players performed offensively. And surprisingly, 32.89% of the time, Kevin Garnett, when playing against Kobe Bryant, held him to 25 points or less. When LeBron James played against Kevin Garnett, he was held to 24 points or less 33% of the time. From 06 to 2015, and from 06 to 2010, Dwayne Wade was held to 20 points or less 30% of the time. The big ticket was truly a game-changing two-way force. If you liked the video, be sure to like and subscribe. The top 5's coming out soon, you don't want to miss it. Until next time, salam.